Chapter 3897. Fourthmore. The 5 strongest players in the 9th Dark Zone, 1 died of the Sword Warrior, 1 surrendered to the Sword Warrior, and the other 2 were defeated by the Sword Warrior. The last one was the Blood Bow King. The Sword Warrior did not go looking for a challenge, but after fighting the Dome of the Sky, he left directly from the 9th Dark Area and went to other surrounding dark areas. There are 108 dark areas in the Magic Dragon area, and the strength of each dark area is similar. In the 9th Dark Area, there are 5 recognized strongest, and other dark areas are similar. After Jian Wushuang left from the 9th Dark Area, he walked along the surrounding territory and challenged one by one. What he challenges are the strongest of these dark areas. The strongest of these dark areas are invincible in their own dark areas. Most of the places where they live are fixed. Unlike prisoners, they move around and find them easier. And to find one of these strongest, Jian Wushuang directly confronted the enemy with a sword array. Once the wave lightsaber array came out, most of these so-called darkest strongest people could only use mystery to escape. Only a few attacking superpowers or strong cards with special cards in hand were able to act like a 1,000-slayed monarch. Opening his wave lightsaber front, he retreated calmly. However, even if such a strong person is extremely scarce in the entire dragon domain, there may not be one in a dark area, which also causes Jian Wushuang to roam in these dark areas, which is almost rampant. A full 80 years passed in a flash of time. Over the past 80 years, Jian Wushuang has walked through more than 20 dark areas in succession, challenging hundreds of top powerhouses, of which more than 90% of the top powerhouses can only escape when he encounters them. The strong man's life-saving mystery is generally not able to escape from the wave lightsaber array, and was consumed by the sword Wushuang alive. Such a crazy challenge, coupled with such a terrible record, and Jian Wushuang's identity as the master of the rules, made Jian Wushuang's reputation in the Magic Dragon domain gradually grow louder. Although the information transmission in the Eternal Dark Prison is inconvenient, it is not completely blocked. Soon, some of the top powerhouses in the Devil Dragon domain have heard of him. Demon Domain, a dark corner. A skinny old man in a black robe just sent a strongest man in the dark to leave, and then groaned. The Lord of the Blood Sword? Just the master of the rules, he was able to let one after another the strongest in the Dark Zone run away, and even the strongest in the Dark Zone died in his hands. The Blood Sword Master, a bit great, what does he rely on? Listen to the strongest man in the Dark Zone who just lost. The Lord of the Blood Sword has a deep sense of the origin of the Kendo universe, and he also understands a bit of the lore of the universe. He also has a rule of the most precious sword in his hand. Of course, he the most powerful is a sword array entangled with the enemy. As soon as the sword array came out, the general strongest person in the Dark Zone could not be forcibly broken. It could only be trapped in the sword array and was constantly consumed by its power. Unless the escape mystery was released from the sword array, it would be consumed alive. Dead. Well, his sword array is also very good. The elder man in the black robe narrowed his eyes slightly, but the corner of his mouth was a weird smile. Well, suddenly there is such a powerful ruler in the demon dragon realm, and there is a magical sword of magical treasure in hand. The master must be very interested in this Bloodsword Master, and he will inform the master of this news. Maybe I can get a reward from the owner. The thin old man in the black robe flashed a zeal in his eyes, but then went into the depths of Dongfu and took out a cage covered by a black cloth from the inside. With this cage, the emaciated old man in the black robe walked out of the cave and came to the outside void. Then he tore off the black cloth, exposing a black bird inside the cage. At first glance, this black bird is no different from ordinary birds, but if you look closely, you will find that there are special black secret lines on the black bird. Although these black secret lines are not too deep, they are extremely complicated, and the pair of black eye pupils of the bird are extremely agile, just like human eyes, but at this moment, the eyes are already filled with despair. Well, little guy, I'm bothering you to run around and give this mastery to the master. The elder man in the black robe tied a Chenkuan ring to the feet of the black bird. There was only one sign in the ring, and in the sign was a message about the Lord of the Blood Sword. Then, the elder man in the black robe opened the birdcage. Go, little one. The black bird immediately flew out of the cage. As soon as it came out of the cage, the black secret lines on the body of the blackbird urged to start. The volume of the blackbird began to grow and turned into a black eagle. Speed broke out and tens of thousands of miles were drawn in the blink of an eye. Too fast. The speed of this black eagle is many times faster than the speed of general domination. In less than 3 years, the black eagle swept out of the dragon domain, and it was unimpeded along the way. Even if a strong man saw the black eagle, he was immediately frightened to bypass it, and was afraid to stop the black male. Eagle's way. From the magic dragon realm to another large domain Dan magic realm. If the normal speed of the 3rd level dominates the road, even if the road is unimpeded, and the fastest speed of the explosion is at least hundreds of years or even thousands of years, but this the black eagle rushed all the way, but it took only less than 10 years to reach an ancient black castle in Danmo Yu. This black castle is vast and magnificent. You know, here is in the Eternal Dark Prison. The Eternal Dark Prison kills extremely crazy. Even the strongest one in the Dark Zone has extremely powerful strength. Dare to live somewhere, but dare not be in himself where you live. You build castles, let alone a castle that is so vast and so magnificent. The owner of this black castle is obviously extraordinary. Cool. The huge black eagle swooped down and landed in a courtyard of the black castle. With the secret lines running on the body surface, it turned into an ordinary black bird. At this time, a Xingyi man appeared in the courtyard. He took off the Qianquan ring next to the blackbird's feet, and returned the blackbird to the bird cage. Then he took the Qianquan ring and headed towards the central area of the castle. The Xingyi man marched all the way inside the castle, and on the way, there were some livestock or animals around him. For example, some domestic animals such as pigs, dogs, cows, horses, etc. can only be seen in the mortal world. There are also lions, tigers, cranes, snakes and other birds and beasts. In this castle, you can find everything, and the number is very large. No matter what kind of livestock or animals, they have one thing in common, that is, the body surface is covered with some special secret lines, and the eyes are dull, empty, and hopeless. Chapter 387 Blackbirds, page 11, bookmark for easy reading. Chapter 3898. Fifth More. In the center of the Black Castle, above the clearing, a man in a white robe with white hair hanging down to the waist, but with a handsome face, lay there halfway, squinting his head with one hand, slightly closing his eyes, humming a small song, and his figure followed the rhythm, lightly shaking gently, a relaxed and self-sufficient look. This white-haired handsome man looks only like an immortal from the appearance. However, if this top echelon of the Eternal Dark Prison sees him, he will be horrified like never before. They know very well what a terrible demon the white-haired handsome man is. There are countless strong people in Eternal Dark Prison, many of which are evil and poisonous by nature. They used to be the devil who committed heinous crimes outside, but if you want to say who is the first devil of Eternal Dark Prison, I am afraid most of this first layer the first thought of the top powerhouse is him. In front of the handsome man in white, there was a white cat cleverly walking there. The former occasionally reached out and stroked the white cat's hair. And when you look down, you will see that there are dozens of white rats standing on the ground. The figures are shaking slightly, and their eyes are full of tension and panic. Little ones, you are ready. The white-haired Junyi man said softly, but his eyes were still slightly closed. The hair of dozens of rats on the ground erected instantly, and all the pupils of the rats were locked to the forbidden area in front of the open space, where there was a red line. Go! The white-haired Junyi man spoke again. Suddenly, the dozens of white rats were like arrows off the string, sending out the fastest speed in their lives, rushing towards the red line crazy. 3, 2, 1. The white-haired Junyi man whispered the numbers, and the moment the one word fell, the white cat that was originally under his palm came out instantly. The speed of this white cat is obviously much faster than those of the 10 or so white mice. Although the white mice set out first, the white cat still caught up with them very easily. After a few kills, dozens of white mice, 6 of them the white cat killed on the spot, and the rest escaped beyond the red line by chance. After the red line, the white cat no longer hunted, but slowly returned to the white-haired Junyi man. Haha, a small thing, it's a good job. The white-haired Junyi man smiled and touched the white cat's head, and in the gap between the narrow eyes narrowed, He looked at the white rats with a sharp smile. The little things that survived had good luck. As for the 6 dead, the white-haired Junyi man waved lightly, and immediately the smashed 6 white rats that had been torn by the white cat were immediately visible to the naked eye. The speed was regrouped. After a while, the 6 mice recovered completely, but their eyes and pupils were more frightened. Remember, you 6 and died again, so you have to add another 100 million years to your deadline. The by far Junyi man chuckled. Hearing these words, the 6 white rats trembled, and there was no emotion in their eyes except despair. At this time, the Xingyi people finally arrived. Master, Xingyi said respectfully. What is it? By far Junyi asked softly. There is a message from the Devil Dragon realm, and it was sent by the blackbird you gave from the owner. Xingyi humane. Oh. The white-haired Junyi man finally opened his hands completely. His pair of eyes were weird, but they were blue, without any emotion. The blackbird, that can shuttle the entire first level of the eternal dark prison as fast as possible. Over the years, I have only created 9, 8 of which were placed in the 8 domains, the dragon domain. Since the blackbird is used to convey information over there, something must have happened over there. The white-haired Junyi man smiled and stretched out his hand. Information to me. The Xingyi people respectfully handed the Chenkuan ring to the white-haired Junyi man. After the white-haired Junyi man took it, he immediately took out the command sign of Chenkuan ring, and after a brief browse, he knew the truth. The Lord of the Rules. You can even force the darkest strongest one to run away, and still have a magic sword in your hand. By far Junyi's brows frowned. Haha, interesting, so interesting. But, the entire first level of the eternal dark prison, whether it is the 8th territory, or those remote areas outside the 8th territory, as long as it is a slightly more famous strong man, I know that if the Lord of the Bloodsword was really Hongyun was imprisoned in a vein, and had already spent hundreds of Chaos-era strong men in this eternal dark prison. It was impossible for him to have no fame as the ruler of his rule, and I would not know it until now. That is to say, the Lord of the Bloodsword should have just entered eternal dark prison. The master of the alien rule? How did he enter the eternal dark prison? The blue eyes of by far Junyi's man flickered slightly. The pulse of Hongyun has long since vanished. This is beyond doubt, and the eternal dark prison is left in the universe. Maybe it is the Lord of the Bloodsword that has good luck, and inadvertently broke into here. Anyway, the Bloodsword Master, it's worth me to go there personally. Master, do you plan to go to the Devil's Land in person? The Xingyi people looked over. Yes. The white-haired Junyi man smiled and nodded. It's time, it's not too far away from my ancestors' next trip. This time, let's leave in advance. As for these little things in my castle. A strange light flashed in the eyes of the man with white hair. Congratulations, you can be relieved in advance, ha ha ha. With extremely insane and wanton laughter, the white-haired handsome man jumped straight to the sky, and immediately emerged from the castle with a white horse with wings, which appeared on top of the void, forming an extremely gorgeous carriage. By Farjuan the Yi man sat in a carriage and went directly in the direction of the demon realm. After the white-haired Junyi man left the castle, a special force that had been permeated in the castle dissipated. Suddenly, great changes began to take place throughout the Black Castle. I saw dozens of white rats fighting on the clearing ground. All of them were transformed into a famous practitioner. These practitioners have male and female, and the breath from their body is not weak. Surprisingly, they have reached the 3rd level. There are also many livestock and animals in the castle, which at this moment have turned into human cultivators and restored their former appearance and strength. Followed by a roar of hysteria, it echoed over the castle. Star Demon Patriarch, I will never die without you. Star Demon Patriarch, I swear to kill you. Brute. In addition to yelling and yelling, there is also a sound of relief. Finally released. Chapter 3899. 6 more arrived today. Magic Dragon Realm, the 42nd Dark Area. It has been 110 years since Jian Wushuang left the 9th Dark Zone. In these 110 years, he walked through the dark areas one by one, and now he has come to the 42nd Dark Area, and now there is a middle-aged man in a purple robe standing in front of him. The middle-aged man in this purple robe was named Dicha, and Jian Wushuang came to challenge this time. Like other dark areas, this 42nd dark area also has several recognized strongest, and this emperor is the master of the 42nd dark area. Jian Wushuang has come all the way, whether it was from the hands of the Blood Rain Demon and the 1,000-killing emperor, or the darkest strongest in the fierce battles. He has gained a lot of information about the powerful dragons. Therefore, I have a good understanding of the emperor who is in front of him. Emperor is the superpower who can be ranked in the top 5 in the entire dragon domain. In terms of combat power, he should be slightly stronger than the 1,000-killed emperors. In the entire dragon domain, except the dragon beyond the Lord, I'm afraid no one can beat him. The Lord of the Blood Sword, I know you. The middle-aged emperor of the purple robe, with his hands on his back, stared at Jian Wushuang flatly. Jian Wushuang challenged all the way and had already gained a good reputation in the demon dragon domain. The emperor of Dicha knew that he was also normal. I am very honored to be dominated by Emperor Shakespeare. Jian Wushuang smiled. I know the purpose of your trip, so I won't talk nonsense with you. Show your entangled enemy sword formation. I'm also very curious. Can force a darkest strongest wolf howling, even can only use the mysterious escape sword array. In the end, how strong? Emperor Break dominated. As you wish. Jian Wushuang directly cast the wave of light sword array. 110 years of turbulence challenged a strong man. During this challenge, Jian Wushuang's wave lightsaber array naturally improved a little bit, and it is more tough and powerful than before. I saw the sky full of sword-like waves, like storms and storms. Emperor's lord took a random palm shot and easily crushed these waves. The sword array power is good. The general strongest in the dark zone, even if it is good at attacking power, may not be able to break the sword array. Once it cannot be broken, it will fall into the sword array, or it will use its secrets. Escaped from surgery, or else I had to wait for death. Emperor nodded slightly, but this sword array can't beat me. Emperor shot directly. A huge palm print was devastated and looted, purely on the power. This palm was no less than the third axe of the 1,000-slaying monarch, and even faintly stronger. Bang rong. The entire wave lightsaber formation collapsed on the spot. Great. Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up. Can break my wave lightsaber array, then I wonder if you can break my Earthguard sword array again. Is there a second sword array? Emperor Foul frowned. In the 110 years of sword unparalleled battle, although facing many strong players, most of them only need to cast the wave of light sword array. As for the guardian of the sword array, almost no one forced him to use it, and naturally no one was outside. Know that he still has this sword array. Emperor shot again, in order to defeat the sword guardian of the Earth Guardian sword formation, but he played the palm that just defeated the wave light sword formation, and bombarded the Earth Guardian sword formation, but the Earth Guardian sword formation remained motionless until the last emperor, the master, can only use his strongest killing trick. That killing move consumed nearly 10% of the divine power of the emperor's lord in one breath, and the power emitted by the emperor was no less than the fourth axe of the emperor who killed 1,000 emperors. Yes, but the bombardment on the Earth Guardian sword array just shook the Earth Guardian sword array slightly. Seeing this, the emperor no longer shot, but directly prepared to leave. But he was just leaving. The emperor is the master, don't rush away. Jian Wushuang smiled, but took out the disciples' tokens from Hongyun directly. Instantly the emperor's juggernaut was suppressed, and Jian Wushuang gave the emperor's juggernaut the same conditions, whether to surrender or die. The emperor ruled, and finally chose to submit. It didn't take long for Jian Wushuang to leave a mark in the soul origin of Emperor Dashi. Dicha, see the master. The Dicha master stood respectfully in front of Jian Wushuang. Dicha, starting today, you are my 11th slave. Jian Wushuang smiled. The 11th. Emperor Break dominated for a moment. Yes, before you, there are 10 others. They are also the strongest in some dark areas of the Demon Dragon realm. Famous names like the 1,000-killing Emperor and the Demon King can all enter the Demon Dragon realm. The top 10, and your Emperor dominates, but in terms of strength, now I should be the strongest among the 11 slaves. Jian Wushuang smiled. In these years, in addition to the Blood Rain Demon and the 1,000-killing Emperor who first conquered in the 9th Dark Area, He then battled for 110 years and challenged the strong in all parties. Those who are generally the best in the dark area there is no intention of conquering, but some of the real strong ones, such as the King of the Kings, are completely comparable to the 1,000 killed monarchs. Jian Wushuang directly used the disciples of Hongyun to suppress them conquer, although there are many who would rather die than surrender, but this is only a minority. Therefore, before the emperor's domination, he did have 10 servants. This emperor's dominator is the 11th. I don't know the other 10, where are they all now? Asked the emperor. They should all go to the 9th dark zone now. I want them to wait there. When I decide to leave, I will take them along. I am still in the 42nd dark zone and need you. Give me guidance, but after I leave the 42nd dark zone, you will also wait for me in the 9th dark zone. Jian Wushuang Dao. Yes. Emperor nodded respectfully. Suddenly The emperor suddenly looked suddenly. Someone came, and it was 4 people together. 4 people together? Jian Wushuang frowned. He has been in this eternal dark prison for so long, and the strong people he encounters are usually alone. Except for the deliberately asking for help to kill him like the Lord of the Thousand Blades, otherwise he normally rages in this eternal dark prison. There are joint actions. The strength of my soul noticed the existence of those 4 people, and those 4 people should have found me, but they did not leave, but came here at a faster speed. It seems that they are specifically looking for mine. Emperor Break ruled. Looking for you? Jian Wushuang showed a strange look. How do I think these 4 people came to me? Chapter 3900. The first is more. Emperor is dominated by his reputation. In the entire dragon domain, he can be ranked among the top 5 peak powers. Within the dragon domain, who dares to come to his trouble except the Dragon Lord? Jian Wushuang himself is different. He is just the master of the rules, he has just made a name for himself, and he has the magic sword of law, so it's no surprise that he is being followed. It's the 4 of them. Emperor Dicha has recognized the 4 people who are approaching by the power of the soul, and frowned immediately. Master, we are afraid that it is a little troublesome. Trouble? Am I afraid of trouble in this eternal dark prison? Jian Wushuang smiled. The emperor ruled for a while, and immediately thought of Jian Wushuang's identity, and he was relieved. Soon, the 4 who arrived appeared in front of Jian Wushuang and Dicha. These 4 men, 2 men and 2 women, are very thick and powerful, headed by a red-robe enchanting woman. Master, these 4 are the strong men around the Lord of the Dragons. Each of them is extremely powerful. They can be called the strongest in a dark area, and the red one headed by that, on strength it's not weaker than me at all. The emperor killed the master softly. Well, I know all 4 of them. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly, and he had already received information from some of the top powerhouses in the magic dragon realm. The 4 people in front of them are all next to the Lord of the Dragons. Among them, the red-robe enchanting woman Hong Yi ruled the most famous and strongest, and the remaining dark fire dominated, the 10,000 bones demon, and Su Xin, who both have the darkest strongest combat power, and are not weaker than Qianblade Demon Lord and Bloodrain Demon. They should have come to me by the order of Lord Demon Dragon. Jian Wushuang smiled indifferently. It seems that my existence has attracted the Demon Dragon Lord's attention, but he didn't come in person, but just sent him. His 4 strong men. Jian Wushuang had hoped that the Lord of Dragons would come by himself, but apparently he did not. Dicha, don't reveal that you have become my slave. Jian Wushuang Dao. Understand. Emperor Back nodded. At this moment, the 4 strong men who have arrived at that moment have locked their eyes on Jian Wushuang's body. The master of the rule has the magical breath, and looks the same, he should be the master of the blood sword. The red-robed demon woman dominated by Red One, with a faint strange light in his eyes, looked at Sword Wushuang. But then she looked at the emperor of the emperor. Emperor? He is also with the Lord of the Blood Sword? Hong Yi Master frowned slightly. Emperor King's fame in the demon dragon realm is amazing, and his strength is not inferior to her. The entire demon realm, even if the demon dragon lord takes the shot himself, may not be able to kill it. If the emperor stood next to the Lord of the Blood Sword, it would be a big trouble for her. Hong Yi, there are 3 others, you don't follow the Lord of Dragons, what do you do to me? Emperor Saddle looked at the four people with his hands on his back. Emperor Break, we are not here for you, but the Lord of the Blood Swords around you. Hong Yi dominated. Are you looking for the Blood Sword? Emperor Deecher groaned pretending, what are you doing to find him? My lord heard that an incredible genius appeared in the domain of the demon dragon. The master level of the rule realized a trace of the law of the universe, and the power of combat was not weaker than the third-level master. Very curious, so we ordered the four of us to invite the Lord of the Blood Sword to visit the Dragon Castle. Hong Yi ruled. Guest. Haha, I'm afraid the guest is a fake. It's true that the rule of the Blood Sword in the hands of the Blood Sword is true? Emperor Jar laughed. Emperor Break. Hong Yi's eyes were cold. This is the order of the Lord. Our Lord invited the Lord of the Blood Sword to visit the Dragon Castle. It has nothing to do with you. You should hurry up. Sorry, I hate to meet the Blood Sword late. I have identified him as one of my best friends in this eternal dark prison. You want me to leave? It is impossible, even if the Lord Dragon comes in person, I will not give him face. Emperor Lha said. It seems that you want to offend the Lord of the Blood Sword for the Lord of the Blood Sword. Lord Hong Yi has a cold look, glanced at the three masters around him, and said quietly, this emperor will intervene in this matter, so not so easy, but Lord asked us to take the Lord of the Blood Sword back, Lord's orders must be followed. In this way, I will take the shot directly. I am responsible for entangled the Emperor of the Emperor, and the three of you will join forces to take down the Lord of the Blood Sword at the fastest speed. If you cannot capture it, you will kill him and take him away. The rule is the most precious sword. Yes. Understand. The Lord of the Dark Fire, the 10,000 Bone Demon and Su Xinhu all nodded in unison. Boom. A sudden breath of air swept up from the body of Hong Yi's master, and a red robe also blown up, rolling endless air waves. Emperor, you didn't even think of my lord, I would like to see, what are you capable of? Hong Yi ruled with a spit, and the endless red clouds rolled, and the overwhelming Chao Emperor ruled overcome. Master. Emperor Dazar glanced at the sword next to him. It's okay, you'll fight with this red one. As for the other three, let them join forces to deal with me. Jian Wushuang smiled. Emperor Deecher nodded his head, and immediately stunned, killing him immediately, and in a blink of an eye he was madly fighting with Red One. Each of the two top powerhouses possesses the top 5 combat powers of the Devil's Dragon Realm, and they are fighting each other fiercely. At the same time as the two were at war, the Dark Fire Master, 10,000 Demon King, and Su Xinhu all moved. The Lord of the Blood Sword, I'll be honest, I can spare you a life, otherwise. The Dark Fire Lord is surrounded by heavy black flames around him, with murder in his eyes. It's just you three, but I don't have the qualification to let me capture it. Jian Wushuang chuckled, but his heart moved, the three strongest, and all of them are the darkest strongest level. Just as I have improved the two-sword formations, I have spent 110 years in many dark areas of the Demon Dragon Realm. Although I have played against many strong players, they are all alone. Until now, I have never with these two swords, you can deal with 2 or 3 people at the same time. These 3 may join forces and maybe let me find some shortcomings of the sword array. Sword's eyes were so war-fighting, watching the 3 strong men in front of him killed, he took out the Wu weapon sword and waved directly. The endless mood immediately swept away. End of this chapter. Chapter 3901. Second more. Buzz. The sky and the earth shook slightly, and the sword-like ocean of time had already appeared. This sword-like ocean is extremely vast, and the 3 main dominators in front of it were covered immediately, followed by the rush. A heavy sword-like wave rushed toward the 3 in succession. Good mood. Is this a sword array? The 3 masters immediately noticed the extraordinariness of this sword formation. It is said that the Lord of the Blood Sword was able to use the ruler's realm to force a darkest strongest to flee, relying on a sword array that entangled the enemy. The strong ones into the sword array, as if in a vortex, there is no other way than to perform life-saving secrets to escape. The sword array that entangles the trapped enemy should be the sword array we see now. This sword the formation is quite extraordinary. Even if you and I are 3, you have to be careful. Wangu Demon solemnly. Do you really take the sword array played by the ruler of a rule? Even if this sword array can really trap a bit of the strongest in the dark zone, now we are a 3-man team. To break the sword formation, it should be easy. The Dark Fire Master disapproved. I shot together with 3 of them and broke him. It is good. The 3 masters immediately shot. I saw an outrageous offensive unleashed from the hands of the 3, who began to attack the sword array in 3 different directions, respectively. The sword-like waves used by the sword-like ocean have not really approached yet, and they have been directly defeated by the 3 of them in a state of destruction. Okay. Jian Wushuang, who was casting his lightsaber array at full strength, frowned at this moment. Trucking 1 person with a sword array, and 3 people at the same time, the difference is really big. Jian Wushuang groaned. Before only trapping a person with the sword array, he could control the heavy sword-like wave as he wanted, so that the other party could not escape completely. But now, when 3 people are trapped at the same time, the sword-like wave must be dispersed and impacted on the 3 people at the same time, which causes the power of the sword-like wave to be greatly weakened, even at the speed of formation. Can't match the speed at which the 3 masters defeat the sword wave. The 3 masters attacked Jenny Ocean wildly in 3 different directions. Jian Wushuang had a feeling that he could not fully react, and he could only watch Jenny Ocean disintegrate, and the entire wave of light sword array completely collapsed. Sure enough, I only targeted 1 person before. I still can't see the shortcomings of my lightsaber array, but now I am facing 3 people at the same time. Under the attack of these 3 people at the same time, there are some shortcomings in my sword array. It was exposed. Jian Wushuang secretly booed. The sword array collapsed. Not only was he not angry, he was rather pleased. Because while the sword array collapsed, he also found out some shortcomings of his sword array. These defects can be continued to improve. I just said, what kind of sword array can a strong ruler perform? What hasn't it been broken directly? Dark Fire Master sneered, without the sword array, the Blood Sword Master's battle at best, it is comparable to the 3rd-level master. You and me can easily kill him, but the Lord said that if he can capture him, it is best not to kill him. Watch me catch him. The 10,000-bone devil chuckled. A black iron chain with a baby's arm laughing appeared in his hand. This black iron chain was full of special secret lines, apparently possessing special abilities. This iron, the breath emanating from the chain, is extremely dark and cold, and extremely tyrannical. With the wave of the Wangu demon's big hand, this black iron chain is like a black dragon, and it is swept directly towards the sword unparalleled, and at the same time a secret pattern is also excited at this moment. Watching the black iron chain sweeping across, Jian Wushuang smiled softly, followed by the power of a lot of rules, mainly the ruler of the earth, rising wildly. A heavy ground sword area appeared immediately. It was also only the 52 major ground sword areas, and they overlapped in a special way to form a complete Earth Guardian sword formation. The black iron chain entangled Shangshu's unique body, but was shielded by the Earth Guardian sword array. No matter how the black iron chain impacted and beat, the entire sword array remained motionless. What? Sword array again? Looking at the sword formation, it is obviously different from the previous sword formation. This sword formation seems to be used to protect the body. The 3 masters all looked at Jian Wushuang's pervasive sword array, and frowned. Shoot together to perform the strongest attack and broke the sword array. Su Xinhu said in a deep voice. The 3 major masters did not hesitate, and they immediately performed their own tricks. I saw 3 mighty offensives at the same time bombarded the Guardian sword array of the earth. These 3 attacks are barely comparable to the 3rd axe of the 1,000-slayed monarch. Of the 2nd axe, 3 offensives simultaneously bombarded the Earth Guardian sword formation. Peng, peng, peng. There were almost 3 intermittent impact sounds under the attack of these 3 strong horizontal attacks. The Earth Guardian sword trembled a little, but soon calmed down. What? How could this be? Dominated by dark fire, 10,000 bone demon, and Su Xinhu are a little dazed. But at this moment Jian Wushuang laughed. 3, you are really stupid. You don't want to think about why Emperor Dashi dominates such strong men. Why do they meet me and hate them late? and why do they treat me as a best friend? The words of the sword unparalleled made these three main body figures shocked. Don't you? Wangu Demon stared at Jian Wushuang, a thought flashed in his mind. You should have guessed and told you that before I met you, I met the Emperor Dazak. As a result, the Emperor Dazak used his strongest attack method, but he couldn't regret my armor sword formation. He admired it. My sword formation's body defense ability, that's why I associate with me. Although the three of you also have the strength of the strongest in the Dark Zone, even if the three of them work together, the strongest attack powers exerted are still more powerful than the strongest tricks not mastered by God. What are you doing? Shake my body sword array? Jian Wushuang smiled. The half-truth and half-false, he said, but the three masters in front of him have no doubt believed. Because in their view, Emperor Dashi is so powerful, and his character is extremely arrogant. Those who can let him recognize an associate must have extraordinary strength or means, and this bloodsword master makes Emperor Dashi dominate. The approved method should be this bodyguard sword formation. Even the strongest tricks of Emperor Shakespeare can't regret this sword array, and the three of us certainly can't regret it, but the Guardian sword array is only a defensive material attack, but the soul attack can't resist it. End of this chapter. Chapter 3902. Third more. Su Xinhu, attack with your soul. Wangu Devil sang. Look at me. Han Xin flashed in Su Xinhu's eyes. In the eternal dark prison, there are few strong men who are good at attacking the soul, but this simple heart is exactly one of them. I saw a surging soul force sweeping out, ignoring the earth guarding the sword array around the sword Wushuang, and poured directly into the sword Wushuang knowledge sea. Jian Wushuang's soul was annihilated in an instant, but the next moment it was repaired immediately. The people sent by the Lord of Dragons are really comprehensive, even the strong ones who are good at attacking the soul. Jian Wushuang smiled. How could it be? His soul was annihilated clearly. Is it the legendary perfect life cultivator? Su Xinhu was shocked. The Lord of the Blood Sword is still the perfect life. Damn it. WNGU Demon cursed, followed by looking at the dark fire next to him, and said, Dark fire, you have the highest level of repression. Ignore his body sword array, suppress him directly. I'll try. The Lord of Dark Fire stepped forward immediately, then turned his hand, and a baby-sized stone appeared in his hand. Under the control of the Dark Fire Master, this gold zoomed in at a terrifying speed and floated over the top of Jian Wushuang's head, followed by a slight shock from Jin Shi. Boom. A strong amount of repression came directly. Suppression of class treasure? Jian Wushuang looked up, a playful smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. He is a cultivator with a perfect level of life, and his strength is here. There is a guardian of the sword guarding the earth around him. If he wants to suppress him, he must use the magic treasure, and even have to urge the magic treasure to a certain extent. Power. This dark fire dominates only the third-level master, and only the strongest treasure of the highest level is brought out. How can he suppress him? Sure enough, he stood under the gold stone and allowed it to suppress, and the result was naturally motionless and unaffected. Dark fire dominates, your repression class arcana is too low, it is better, you look at my repression class arcana. Jian Wushuang suddenly smiled evil. An incomparably breath, a sharp rise. Under the watchful eye of the dark fire, I saw a majestic stone monument that was so tall and soaring that it slowly rose up. The surface of the stone monument was also surrounded by countless mysterious patterns. These secret patterns were extremely complicated at this moment. Actually, with horrible might, he smashed directly at the gold stone. The same is the suppression of the top treasure. The gold stone is also the best strong treasure. It can be smashed by the stone tablet. Instantly the whole stone begins to tremble wildly. The secret lines on the surface of the stone and the light emitted from it are even dim on the spot. Come down. Immediately following this, golden stone immediately shrunk to restore the previous appearance, and flew to the hand of the dark fire as fast as possible, as if the bullied child ran to his parents. This is. The dark fire dominated the recovery of the golden stone, but his eyes stared at the towering stone monument above. The rule is the treasure, and the Lord of the Blood Sword has a second rule, the treasure. The Dark Fire Master roared. The rule to the gemstone? 10,000 bone monsters, Su Xin who also panic. But the three of them survived the eternal dark prison for so long and soon calmed down. All the means have been put into practice, but there is still nothing to do with the Lord of the Blood Sword. Hong Yi was stopped by the Emperor of the Emperor. There was no chance for her. Obviously, we cannot kill the Lord of the Blood Sword at all. Don't talk about it. The Bone Monarch's voice was low. Go, withdraw. The three masters did not hesitate, knowing that there was no way to take the sword without a match, they retreated directly. In the side, Hong Yi, who has been fighting fiercely with the Emperor's master, has also retreated, and distanced himself from the Emperor's master. Above the void, the Red One dominates, the Dark Fire dominates, the 10,000 Bones Demon King, and Su Xin who gather together again. Emperor also returned to Jian Wushuang. Haha, 4, do you want to fight again? If you go back like this, I'm afraid it will be difficult to explain like that Dragon Lord. Jian Wushuang smiled. The faces of the 4 masters were extremely ugly. What's going on? Hong Yi asked, frowning. Hong Yi, you should have noticed just now. In addition to a sword formation that entangles the enemy, there is also a more terrifying sword formation. The three of us joined forces to perform the strongest attack. ICANT move the body sword array. As for other methods, such as soul attack and repression, we have used them, all of them are useless to the Lord of the Blood Sword. The three of me alone cannot help him. Jun shook his head. By the way, you. Wangu Demon looked at Hong Yi. Well, you do know the strength of the Emperor's master. I fought against him, but I barely tried to compete with him. Even if I have a whole card and never played it, but this Emperor King also has a whole card, I can't get around him at all to deal with the Lord of the Blood Sword. Hong Yi's voice was low. There is no way, the Lord of the Blood Sword has the Emperor to help each other, and the 4 of us alone are really helpless. Wangu Demon said. We all tried our best. Blame the information we received before is not accurate enough. We do know that the Lord of the Blood Sword also has such a terrible body sword array. According to my estimation, I want to open the Blood Sword directly. The Lord's Guardian Sword formation, I am afraid that the Lord himself can do it himself. The Dark Fire dominated. Fortunately, this time when I came out of the 4 of us, it wasn't that there was no gain at least. At least I knew that there was another rule of treasure in the hands of the Lord of the Blood Sword, and it looked like a rule of repression. When we bring this news back, we should be able to anger the Lord, Su Xin who said. The 4 of them were at the command of the Lord of the Dragons and returned with swords. But now they have no way to take a sword. If there is nothing to return, the Dragon Lord must be furious, maybe they will be punished. But now that they have gained something, they dare to go back for business. Come on, go back and tell the Lord first. As for what to do next, let the Lord decide for himself. Hong Yi's master sighed lightly, and immediately took the 3 masters around him, and turned and left. Jian Wushuang stood side by side with the Emperor Chase, watching the 4 men leave, and Jian Wushuang did not intend to take any action to leave the 4 men behind. Master, why don't you use Hongyun's Pulse of Disciples tokens directly to suppress these 4 people, but to let them go? Asked Emperor Dicha, wondering. End of this chapter. Chapter 3903. Fourth more. Indeed, if Jian Wushuang is willing, he can suppress these 4 masters by turning his hands. You should know that although the other 3 are more ordinary, the normal level is the strongest in the darkest zone. The one who can be headed by the Red One is comparable to the Emperor. If Jian Wushuang can overcome its suppression, it will definitely be a great help to him. But Sword Unparalleled did not do so. These 4 were arrested by the order of the Lord of the Dragons. If I directly suppressed the 4 of them with the tokens of the disciples of Hongyun, who would report to the Lord of Dragons? Jian Wushuang smiled. Master, are you deliberately leaving them to report to attract the Dragon Lords? Are you trying to subdue the Dragon Lords? The Emperor's eyes saw a hint of horror. Lord, that is one of the 10 kings in the first floor of this eternal dark prison. If you can conquer it, it would be the best. Jian Wushuang smiled. I not only let them go back to report, even I have just deliberately exposed the second rule of treasure that I have, naturally to invite you to join me. The Emperor's look of had fully understood. These four will report back to the Dragon Castle and come with the Dragon Lord again. I am afraid it will take some time. We will wait for him in this 42nd area. Jian Wushuang smiled. Teacher, this the 42nd dark area is your place. You should be clear about the strong ones here. I need you to help me find them, let them fight with me, and help me cultivate. This is a trivial matter, please follow me, Master. Emperor Teacher immediately led Jian Wushuang towards the place where the strongest men in the 42nd Dark Zone were located. As for the Red One who dominates the four, he really intends to report back to the Dragon Castle. However, among the four, Wangu Demon and Su Xinhu stayed in this 42 dark area. They also stayed to monitor Jian Wushuang and figure out the exact location of Jian Wushuang. After all, they had just fought against Jian Wushuang, and Jian Wushuang also knew that they were sent by the Demon Dragon Lord. Although this time they returned without success, it may not be the next time. So if Jian Wushuang is a little smarter, he will quickly leave this dark area, go elsewhere, or even find a place to hide. The Red One's dominion took this into consideration, so that the 10,000 Bone Demon King and Su Xinhu stayed, just to wait for the Demon Dragon Lord to land in person and be able to directly find the location of the Sword Wushuang. It's just that they didn't think of it. Jian Wushuang didn't mean to leave or hide at all. Instead, he continued to challenge the strong in the 42nd Dark Zone. In the realm of Magic Dragon, there is a huge immortal castle, which is the Magic Dragon Castle. As one of the 10 recognized kings on the first level of the Eternal Dark Prison, the entire Dragon Domain is the domain of this Dragon Lord. The Dragon Lord has always been supreme in the Dragon Domain, and no one dares to provoke it. Although they are all one of the top 10 kings, the ancestor of the Demon Dragon is different from the lonely Star Demon ancestor. The Star Demon ancestor looks like a fairy, but there is a big devil in his bones, with strange and cruel means, and has a special hobby. He likes livestock and animals, and he can't find this in the entire Eternal Dark Prison. On the premise of livestock animals, he directly turned a practitioner into a livestock animal by special means for his pleasure. Therefore, in the castles of the ancestors of the demon, there are all kinds of livestock and animals. But the Dragon Lord's love is more normal. He likes beautiful women, so there are a lot of beautiful women in this dragon castle. Of course, these so-called beauties are actually prisoners detained in this eternal dark prison. They may not be strong themselves, but they can only take pleasure in the Demon Dragon Lord, which is extremely moisturizing in this Demon Dragon domain. Huge monster dragon castle, inside the grand hall. The sturdy old man covered with a hazy black cloth was lying on the bed, and there were 4 beautiful ladies waiting around. The strong old man's eyes were cloudy, and the exposed skin had a faint black luster, and the most striking thing was that the strong old man also had a dark unicorn on his head. This one corner is extremely sharp, as if it can pierce the world. He is the Lord of the Dragon, the absolute overlord of the Dragon Domain. Lord. A red lord of a black robe came to the hall. Hongyi, are you back? The murky eyes of the Dragon Lord slowly opened, scanning Hongyi's dominion. Although the Red One is also a woman, and she is not bad, the Dragon Lord has no interest in the Red One. The Lord of the Blood Sword, have you brought it back? The Dragon Lord asked. Back to the Lord, no. Hongyi, the leader, shook his head. Can't bring it back. The Dragon Lord frowned, but immediately spread out again. I didn't bring it back. I brought back the corpse. The main thing was to bring back the ruler's precious sword, which is also good. Lord, we were not able to bring the Blood Sword Master back to www.mtlnovel. Nor could we kill him. Hongyi ruled Marta. What are you talking about? The Lord Dragon got up, looked at Hongyi's eyes, with a trace of cold, waste. The Lord angered. The Red One Lord explained in shock immediately. I and 4 others took the Lord's order to catch the Lord of the Blood Sword, but when we found him, he was in the 42 dark area, and I don't know why I have been with the Emperor Dazak. We said that it was the Lord who ordered you to invite the Lord of the Blood Sword, but the Emperor Dashi did not give face at all, and was still very tough. In the end, He could only fight. Imperial break. The Dragon Lord looked cold. There are many strong players in the Demon Dragon realm, of which the most prominent Emperor dominates, he naturally knows. Not only did he know that he had also met with Dizak Master, or even had a deal with Dizak Master, but that time Dizak Master had escaped by chance. Although he still kept some whole cards at that time, the strength and means of the Emperor's dominance were unparalleled. So, the reason why you failed to bring back the Lord of the Bloodsword is because Emperor Break intervened? Said the Dragon Lord. Not all of them. Hong Yi shook his head. Although the Emperor is strong, I can fight with him quite well, and I will entangle him, and the Dark Fire, Bone, and Sushin will take action against the Lord of the Bloodsword, but who would have thought that the Lord of the Swords knows an extremely powerful bodyguard? The Guardian Sword Array cannot regret even the strongest attack method of the Emperor. The Emperor also met the Lord of the Bloodsword because of this. Although the three people, Dark Fire, Bone and Sushin, joined forces, they can do the same. Not the Lord of the Bloodsword. Hong Yi dominated one by one. End of this chapter. Chapter 3904. Fifth more. Lord, the four of us have indeed shown everything, but still have no chance of killing the Lord of the Bloodsword, so I can only return to report to the Lord first. In addition, this time with the Dark Fire, Bones, and Heart when the three were besieging the Lord of the Bloodsword, they did not gain anything at all. Hong Yi ruled. Harvest. What's the harvest? The ancestor of the dragon was still cold. Although the three of them could not break the body sword of the Lord of the Bloodsword, but by other means, they also forced the Lord of the Bloodsword to reveal a lot of whole cards. In addition to realizing a trace of the universe, he himself is a practitioner of the perfect level of life. In addition, in his hands, in addition to the known rule arcane sword, there is a second rule arcana. What? The second rule is precious. The dragon ancestor's eyes narrowed sharply. The rule of treasure is that in the universe, only the fourth series and even the fifth series dominate. In the first layer of the eternal dark prison, the most detained is the third-level master. Although there are too many detained masters, some of them are opportunistic or have a good background. Relationship, there are several rules of treasure, but the number is still poor. For example, his Lord of Dragons has no rule of treasure in his hand. Before he wanted them to dominate the sword Wushuang, they were to obtain the sword magic sword of the sword. But now the Lord of Red One tells him that there is a second rule of treasure in the hands of the Lord of the Bloodsword. What is the second rule of the Bloodsword Lord? Asked the Dragon Lord. It is a special stele, and it should be the treasure of the law of suppression. Hong Yi ruled. The law of suppression is precious, stele? The Dragon Lord looked suddenly, and said, what is the size of the stele, and is there anything strange on the surface? The stele is very large and it is very large. It contains golden secret patterns on the surface, and the golden secret patterns are extremely esoteric and complicated. Hong Yizhu replied. Mr. Zhong? The golden secret. The Lord Dragon's eyes lit up completely. It's it, it's not wrong, it's it. Ha ha. God help me too. Lord Dragon Lord laughed directly. Lord. Hong Yi Lord looked at the Dragon Lord in doubt, wondering why the Dragon Lord was so happy. Could it be that the rule in the hands of the Lord of the Bloodswords to the gemstone stele is of no great use to the Dragon Lord? The Lord of the Dragons didn't explain too much, but just groaned on his own. Well, it's 10,000 feet high, and there are a lot of golden steles on the surface. It is a treasure of repressive laws. No accident should be the old scorpion, the town monument that I was looking for. The old scorpion itself has 2 such town monuments, but he still so desperately wants to get the third one. To this end, he has promised great benefits and conditions. Not surprisingly, it should be 3 only when the Zun are combined can they exert their real power, and now the Lord of the Bloodsword has a town stele. If I can get it, although I do need it, I can talk to the old scorpion. The old scorpion has been held in the eternal dark prison for the longest time and has the deepest foundation. He also has the most magic arrays in his hands. It is rumored that in addition to the 2 town monuments in his hands, he has 3 rules. One of them is a rule stick of great treasure, which is of great use to me. The rule is a treasure stick. I once asked him bitterly, and was even willing to pay a huge price. He was unwilling to exchange it for me, but as long as I got the Gentian monument, he would be afraid will obediently come to me with that bag of rule treasures. The Dragon Lord's eyes flashed with strange light, and the corner of his mouth also had a cold smile. Hongyi, where is the Lord of the Blood Sword now? The Dragon Lord looked down. When I came back to you to report to the Lord, I deliberately left WNGU and Su Xin to monitor the movement of the Lord of the Blood Sword. In addition, Su Xin also had my special token. I could sense Su Xin's the location is still in the 42nd Dark Zone, and obviously the Lord of the Blood Sword did not leave there. Hongyi ruled. Haha, you did a good job. Although you did NT bring back the Lord of the Blood Sword this time, at least it brought me good news. It is hard work. When I catch the Lord of the Blood Sword, I will good reward for you. Demon Dragon Lord laughed. Thank the Lord. Hongyi, the Lord, rejoiced, but followed. Lord, the Lord of the Blood Sword is extremely weak, and the Emperor is surrounded by him. He wants to kill him or capture him. I can't do it alone. I'm afraid that you can be sure to take down the Lord only if you take the shot yourself. I understand. The Lord of the Dragons nodded slightly. Emperor alone is very difficult. Even if I do it myself, I have to pay some price to kill him. If the Lord of the Blood Sword and the Guardian Sword formation are so good that even the strongest means of attack by Emperor Shakespeare cannot be moved, it would be more difficult to kill him than to kill Emperor Shades. This matter is of great significance. I don't want to make any mistakes. Hongyi, you immediately go and invite the stone fire. Go to the Lord of Mars. In the Dragon Domain, there are many strong men, and they are good at various means. The Lord of Mars, in the domain of the dragon, is a very special being. This stone Martian master is not very powerful, but just like the Blood Rain demon in the 9th Dark Area, what he is good at is the formation method. What's more, his understanding of the Matrix method has already reached an incredible level. If it is said that Blood Rain demon's understanding of the Matrix method can barely be ranked in the top 20 or even the top 10 of the first layer of the Eternal Dark Prison, then this stone Martian master, his understanding of the Matrix method, is the Eternal Dark Prison 1 floor is recognized first. In other words, no one can match him in the first layer of the Eternal Dark Prison simply on the attainments of the battlefield. Even the Blood Rain demon is far worse than him. However, although the formation is powerful, but his own strength is not strong, so he cannot become a king. But even if he is not a king, ordinary kings do not dare to have any stand when they see him, they are all kind. This is the case of the Demon Dragon Lord. Although the Lord of Mars has been living in the Demon Dragon domain all year round, the Demon Dragon Lord did not dare to order the other party, but he only had to go to the Red to invite, and even if he invited, he had to pay some. The price can really make the Lord of Mars promise to help him. End of this chapter. Chapter 3905. 6 more arrived today. Demon Domain, one of the dark areas. Above the vast void, the two masters of the third series are furiously fighting together, and the battle is extremely fierce. Bang rong. The world is dim, and all the terrible divine powers dissipate wildly. Halfway, the two were separated. Haha, Jinjo, you and I are in this dark area together. I have met each other many times. Every time you want to kill me, but in the end you can't help me. You can only watch me leave, and this time, it's the same. A young man with purple hair stood there and gave a hearty laugh. You are terrific. In recent years, my marksmanship has improved, and my strength has improved. I thought I could kill you, but it still looks a lot worse. The other man was wearing gold armor, just like Gold Tall Man like God of War pouted. Knowing that you can't kill me, see me later, don't waste time. The purple-haired demon youth laughed and was about to leave. Suddenly you. A loud voice sounded suddenly. Heh! Horse barking. The purple-haired demon youth and the man in the golden armor were all moving. This is the Eternal Dark Prison. Where can there be horses? Could it be? The two men immediately looked up and looked at the source of the horse's scream. Sure enough, a luxurious carriage with white wings and a long white horse pulled down slowly. On the wagon carriage, there was a person sitting there. It was a handsome man with white hair and white hair. This handsome man closed his eyes slightly, exuding a unique and elegant atmosphere, like a fairy. Seeing this man, the purple-haired demon youth suddenly changed dramatically with the man in the golden armor. Star Demon Patriarch. It's the ancestor of Star Demon. Both were frightened. The 10 most powerful kings in the first layer of Eternal Dark Prison, the Star Demon ancestors are one of them, and the Star Demon ancestors did not occupy a large area, not because he had no strength to occupy, but did not have that interest. No one knows the quirks of the Eternal Dark Prison. He was only interested in those livestock animals in his palm. In addition, the Star Demon ancestor also has a special title, which is recognized by the Eternal Dark Prison, the first demon. He's a complete pervert, a lunatic. He likes to turn people into livestock animals and play tricks, but any practitioner who falls into the hands of this ancestor of the Star Devil will die. In the Eternal Dark Prison, there were many people who had been caught by the ancestors of Star Devil and tortured for a long time. These people all hated this Star Demon ancestor to the extreme, but all of them also feared the extreme. Just like the ancient night demon who fortunately escaped from the Eternal Dark Prison, he was once caught by the Star Demon ancestor and turned into a livestock, tortured for 1 billion years, so he hated the Star Demon ancestor extremely when Wu Jianshuang entered the Eternal Dark Prison. The only condition was that Jian Wushuang had to find a way to kill the Star Demon ancestor for him. There is no doubt that the ancestor of the Star Devil is a demon known to everyone in the Eternal Dark Prison, but there is nothing he can do. Star Demon Patriarch. We actually met Star Demon Patriarch? How did this Star Demon ancestor appear in the Demon Dragon realm? Could it be Star Demon Patrol? The purple-haired demon youth and the man in the golden armor were trembling with madness at the moment. Star Demon Patrol. This is a disaster. Because the ancestral ancestor likes to turn the practitioner into a livestock animal to torture and tease, but after the teasing, these cultivators will be released, so every once in a while, the ancestor will go out once, and in Eternal Dark Prison a large number of practitioners were arrested in the 8 major areas and turned into livestock and animals to take home. This is the Star Demon Tour. On the way to Star Demon, any practitioner who is encountered by Star Demon is bound to be a nightmare. Sure enough, after seeing these 2 masters, the ancestor of the Star Devil on the luxurious carriage waved his hand directly, and the invisible power came instantly. It's over. The purple-haired demon youth and the man in the golden armor were both pale, with fear and despair in their eyes. Although they are all dominated by the 3rd level, and they can live in Eternal Dark Prison for so long, their life-saving ability is not weak, but now they cannot resist the slightest resistance in the face of the Star Ancestor. Because there have been rumors in the Eternal Dark Prison, the stars and demons are out, but if any practitioners meet, they can live at least if they are honest. If they want to escape, they will die. So far, as long as this ancestor of the Star Devil is trying to catch, he has never missed. Even the Lord of the Darkest can be easily arrested, let alone him. The invisible power descended on the 2 masters, and the 2 masters showed a daze, but at the next moment their bodies began to change. Obviously the 2 masters exuding the torrential weather, in the blink of an eye, they became 2 animals directly. A rabbit and a crow. As the ancestor of the Star Demon waved slightly, the rabbit and the crow came to his palm uncontrollably, and he was thrown into the trunk of the carriage. But when the ancestral ancestor opened the back box, you could see there are already a lot of animals in the back box, but they are all small. Obviously, the ancestor of the Star Devil has arrested many practitioners since his tour. The purple-haired demon youth and the man in the golden armor were arrested, and the carriage only paused slightly, and then continued to move forward. Along the way, the ancestors of the Star Demon shot again and again, but all practitioners encountered will become livestock or animals in the trunk of the carriage. 6 months later, the ancestor of the Star Devil came to a dark corner, and a thin old man in a black robe came to the carriage. Welcome to the Master. The elder man in this black robe is dominated by the 3rd grade, and he is still recognized as the strongest in this dark area, but now he is kneeling directly in front of the Star Demon ancestor. Say it. Star Demon ancestor said lightly. Master, the Lord of the Blood Sword is now in the 42nd Dark Zone, and the Dragon Lord seems to already know his existence. Not long ago, the Lord Dragon Lord shot 4 strong men and wanted to kill the Blood Sword. The master did not succeed, no accident, then the Dragon Lord should be shot in person. The thin old man in black robe respected. Devil. Haha, just a little lizard, let alone say that the Lord of the Bloodsword has not fallen into his hands. Even if it falls into his hands, if the ancestor I need, he must obedient the blood sword. The Lord handed it over to my ancestors. The Star Devil ancestor smiled and immediately looked down. You did a good job with this thing. As a reward, I can reduce the period of the chaos period. Thank you, Master. The ancestor of Star Devil was smiling, and drove the carriage directly to the 42 Dark area. Chapter 3906. The first is more. In the 42nd Dark area, above the vast void, Jian Wushuang and Emperor Duke dominate the two side by side. Not far behind him, there were two other figures just following. That 10,000 Bones demon and Su Xinhu are really annoying. Emperor Break frowned. Let them follow, count the days, the Dragon Lord should be coming soon. Jian Wushuang laughed. Master, in front of it is the Dongfu where the Baitsu Demon Lord lives. Although the Baitsu Demon Lord is also the strongest in the dark level, but his means of strength are all moderate, and he is not particularly good at it, nor is it special awesome. In addition, his life-saving mystery is not too much. If he is caught in the Master's sword array, the Master has a chance to kill him. Emperor ruled. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. It didn't take long for Jian Wushuang to meet the Baitsu Demon Lord, and soon Jian Wushuang showed up his wave lightsaber array to fight against this Baitsu Demon Lord. In the void not far away, the 10,000 Bone Demon and Su Xinhu released the power of the soul, and looked at the scene of the battle ahead. The Lord of the Bloodsword is really a lunatic. He took the initiative to find each of the strongest in the dark area and played against the sword array. He could not help but use those strongest in the dark area to hone him. Sword array cannot be achieved. The Emperor is also the Master, obviously very arrogant, and even took him to find a strongest person in the dark. Wangu Demon wailed. Everyone who makes the Emperor's Master recognizes the Lord of the Bloodsword, and the two have become best friends. The main sword of the Bloodsword has experienced sword formation, of course the Emperor's Lord has to help. Su Xinhu next to him smiled. I have heard of the Lord Baitsu Demon. Although his strength is not weak, his life-saving secrets are very ordinary. He is alone in the sword array of the Lord of the Bloodsword, but he cannot break the sword array. I can't escape, I'm afraid I will have to die in the hands of the Lord of the Bloodsword. The two of them were talking casually. Suddenly Wangu Demon and Su Xinhu looked very moved, followed by joy in both eyes. Lord, finally arrived. The power of his two souls has sensed the arrival of Lord Dragon and Red One. The two met immediately. Meet the Lord. Both Wangu Demon and Su Xinhu respectfully salute, and at the same time they both notice an old man standing next to the Demon Lord. Lord of Mars. Both WN Demon and Su Xinhu were shocked. Bones, simple heart, can the Lord of the Bloodsword be ahead? The Lord Dragon looked down. Yes. Wangu Demon nodded respectfully. He is now fighting against Baitsu Demon Lord, one of the strongest in the 42nd Dark area. The Baitsu Demon Lord should not be his opponent, and he is about to die. In addition, the Emperor Ruler has been with the Lord of the Bloodsword all these years, and is also ahead. Emperor? Lord Dragon Lord's eyes were cold. I tried to kill him many years ago, but he escaped by chance. Today, since he is standing with the Lord of the Bloodsword, he will be him. Kill them all together, and let's go. The Dragon Lord rushed out, and behind him were the Lord of Mars, Lord of Red One, Lord of Darkfire, Lord of 10,000 Bones and Su Xinhu, and approached the position of Sword Wushuang at a fast speed. In the endless void, the endless sword-like ocean swept across, forming a heavy sword-like wave that hit the central Baitsu Demon Master frantically. Baichu Yaoju has been in this wave of lightsaber formation for a long time, and he has exerted all his powers, cannot escape from this sword formation, but can only watch his divine power being continuously consumed, into a state of despair. But at this time, the Emperor who originally stood outside the battlefield suddenly came to Jian Wushuang. Bloodsword, That 10,000 bones demon and Su Shinhu have left my soul perception range. It should be no accident that the demon dragon lord arrived. Emperor Dashi ruled, because there was an outsider. Emperor Drake Jian Wushuang is not called the master, but he is called the blood sword. Lord of the Dragon is here? Jian Wushuang frowned. Lord of the Dragon? Baitsu demon lord in the middle of the wave sword formation was also surprised. Sure enough, a mighty breath slowly came from the distant void, and at the end of that void, several figures were approaching at an alarming rate. In the blink of an eye, they came to the void outside the battlefield, and a number of figures also appeared in front of Jian Wushuang. There are a total of 6 people in the team. Except for the Red One Lord, Dark Fire Lord, 10,000 Demon Kings, and Su Shinhu who have been face to face before Jian Wushuang, the rest is the Dragon Lord and an old man. Is that Lord Dragon? Jian Wushuang looked at the Dragon Lord with a black unicorn on his forehead. The latter stood there. The breath emanating from the invisible body was far stronger than the ordinary third-level masters, and even those who are the strongest in the dark areas. Jian Wushuang also felt a tremendous pressure from his body. This kind of pressure will only appear when it poses a great threat to himself. It is indeed one of the 10 kings. Standing alone, the pressure on me is so strong. If I do have a disciple of Hongyun's pulse in my hand, I can only face him by my own means. Able to retreat. Jian Wushuang sighed in his heart. Followed by Jian Wushuang, he looked at the old man next to the Lord Dragon. Who is this person? I didn't seem to match it with the strong intelligence I got before, but he could stand side by side with the Dragon Lord. Jian was eyes narrowed slightly. You know, even if Hong Yi, who is very powerful and comparable to Emperor Dharma, is standing respectfully behind the Demon Dragon Lord at this moment, but the old man is very side by side with the Demon Dragon Lord. The Dragon Lord has no opinion about this. Obviously, this person should not be under the control of the Dragon Lord. Is it another king? Jian Wushuang frowned. In his opinion, on the first floor of Eternal Dark Prison, there could only be the other 9 kings who could stand alongside the Dragon Lord. At this time, the Emperor of the Emperor whispered softly, Master, if I am not mistaken, the old man should be the Lord of the Martian. Master of Mars? Jian Wushuang wondered. The Lord of Mars is not a king, and his own strength is not strong, but he is generally dominated by the 3rd series. However, his understanding of the formation method is extremely good. It is a recognized formation in the first layer of this eternal dark prison. The first person in law. First person in formation? Hearing the words of Emperor Dicha, Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up instantly. Chapter 3907. Second more. You should know that Jian Wushuang has been wandering in the dark areas of the Demon Dragon Realm these years, and challenged the one who is the strongest in the dark area. The purpose is to continue to improve his 2-sword arrays as much as possible. After years of challenges, he also had some gains, but the gains were not too great. He made the most progress in the 2 major sword formations, still in the 9th Dark Zone, under the guidance of the Blood Rain Demon for 30 years. In those 30 years, his 2 great sword formations can be said to have improved by leaps and bounds. And now, he has encountered a strong man who is good at matrix formation, and is still the first space in the entire Eternal Dark Prison. This Stone Martian Master, in his understanding of the formation method, must be higher than the Blood Rain Demon, or even a lot higher. After all, although the accomplishment of Blood Rain Demon is also high in the formation method, he is extremely confident, thinking that his accomplishment in the formation method can barely rank in the top 10 of the first floor of the Eternal Dark Prison. In fact, this ranking is just her own opinion, but has not been recognized by others. But this Stone Martian Lord is different, but it is the first floor of the entire Eternal Dark Prison, recognized by countless practitioners. His accomplishments in battle formation must be extremely high. If such a strong man who is good at matrix formation, Jian Wushuang can conquer, it will be of great help to himself. This Demon Dragon Lord is really a man. He just brought it to his own door, and he even brought me such a big gift. Jian Wushuang smiled, rejoicing in his heart. However, due to the arrival of the Demon Dragon Lord, the fierce battle between Jian Wushuang and the Baitsu Demon Lord naturally stopped. Although the Baitsu demon lord had little power left, it only took a moment to kill Jian Wushuang, but Jian Wushuang stopped it. The Baichu demon lord immediately seized the opportunity to escape to the surrounding void. But he couldn't leave immediately, because the moment the demon lord appeared, the surrounding void was already covered by a huge circle of law. This heavy law formation is more powerful than the blood formation that the Blood Rain demon had originally laid out. Moreover, the Blood Rain demon lord originally arranged the law array, more or less still needs some time to prepare, but now the Stone Martian master, but turned the room and arranged a more strengthened law array. Within the circle of law, Jian Wushuang, Emperor Dashi, including the Baitsu demon lord, could not escape. I can feel that the law circle around it is very strong. Even if I try my best to use the strongest method, I'm afraid I won't be able to break this law circle. Emperor Diza dominated the path. There is such a ruthless law formation in the room. This master of the Martian master's accomplishment in the formation method is indeed good. Jian Wu's eyes flashed with brilliance. The higher the accomplishment of the Lord of Mars in the formation, the happier his heart is. His body flickered, and the Lord of the White Chu directly came to the void in front of the Demon Lord and others. Lord, you should have come to the Lord of the Blood Sword. It has nothing to do with me. Please also ask the Lord to leave me. Afterwards, you must remember the Lord's kindness, no matter what the Lord sent, by the song will work like a dog. Bai Chu Yarozhu respected him very much, and his attitude was extremely low. He was so distraught now that he didn't want to stay for a moment. And in his opinion, he is also a strongest person in the Dark Zone, and his strength is not in the heart of the Dark Fire, the Bone Monarch, the heart of the heart, and he is so low now that he even promises to be able to serve for the Dragon Lord. This Dragon Lord should let him go. But actually, the Lord of Dragons just glanced at Baitsu Demon Lord coldly, and then waved directly. Boom! A majestic force swept through suddenly, but turned into a purple thunder. This purple thunder contained terrifying destruction power and directly bombarded the body of Baitsu Demon Lord. Bai Chu Yaoju's eyes widened, a little bit of resentment and anger flashed in his eyes, but his breath began to dissipate. With a wave of his hand, Bai Chu Yarozhu died directly. A waste, also want to work for me? Funny. Lord Dragon disdain. A few people behind Hong Yi, the master of the 10,000 bones behind him, saw this without any surprise. The Dragon Lord, but one of the 10 kings, is the Lord of the Dragon Domain. He wants to be with him and work for him. How easy is it? Even if they were a few, the reason why they could follow the Lord of the Dragons at the beginning was because of some special factors. Otherwise, the Lord of the Dragons might be too lazy to look at them except the red one. When Jian Wushuang and Emperor Dominator saw this scene, they were a little surprised. Anyway, I'm also the strongest in the dark area. Although the divine power has been mostly consumed by me, it is estimated that there are less than 30% left, but the Lord of the Dragons obviously did not do his best, just shot at will, not even take out your own magic weapon and kill it directly. Jian Wushuang secretly exclaimed. At the same time, understand that the strength of this Dragon Lord should be stronger than he imagined. Before, he heard that the 1,000 strongest attack methods of Emperor King and Emperor King dominated the two, which could be comparable to the power of ordinary kings. If the top 10 kings were a little more serious and took out their most precious soldiers, the power they exerted will definitely be stronger than the strongest means of attack by the 1,000 kings and emperors. He slayed the Baitsu Demon Lord at will, and the look of the Demon Dragon Lord did not change at all. His cold eyes looked again. When he saw the sword unparalleled, there was a trace of depth in the eyes. Unbelievable fanaticism. Lord of the Blood Sword, I give you the opportunity to surrender all of your 2 rules to the treasure, and submit to me. I can promise not to kill you. The Dragon Lord murmured. Oh, you still want me to surrender? Jian Wushuang smiled slightly, not surprisingly. Just like when he met the Ancient Night Demon, the Ancient Night Demon wanted to subdue him at the beginning, and he was extremely excited. This was mainly because the Ancient Night Demon had left the Eternal Dark Prison and returned to the universe. And there is a division behind him to want a super genius like him. But now the Dragon Lord still stays in the Eternal Dark Prison, where the genius or anything is worthless. The Dragon Lord wants to subdue him. It is estimated that he just wants to save something, but it will not be true. Cares about his talent. Lord of the Dragon, you can just shoot it directly. Let me see how strong you are as a top 10 king. Jian Wushuang turned his fingers towards the Lord of Dragons with a look of provocation. Chapter 3908. Third More. Court Death. There was a bit of evil spirit in the Dragon Lord's eyes, his palm was flipped, and a dark golden stick appeared in his hand. This dark golden long stick is the strongest treasure of the Dragon Lord. Under normal circumstances, even if the Dragon Lord slays the general strongest in the dark area, he does not need to use magic soldiers. Like the Baitsu Demon Lord just now, the Demon Dragon Lord directly killed him with power, but considering that Jian Wushuang is still standing by the Emperor, the Demon Dragon Lord will be his first. Changbao Shenbing took it out. Teacher, you step back and don't need to intervene. Jian Wushuang instructed. Yes. Emperor Dashi nodded, and his figure had receded to the side. Finally, I can really fight against the powerful men at the level of kings. Jian Wushuang looked at the Dragon Lord in front of him, with a hint of excitement in his eyes. Emperor retreated? The Dragon Lord looked at the Emperor, but the evil spirit in his eyes was more intense. Whatever he is, dare to block the road and kill directly. The Dragon Lord shot directly. He was just a simple step, and appeared directly in front of Jian Wushuang across a distant distance. The dark gold stick in his hand smashed into a dark golden thunder, and he slashed down in a flash. There was a loud roar from the smash. A terrifying power of extinction appeared on the head of Jian Wushuang. This power is so strong. Jian Wushuang secretly panicked, but at the first time, there was a lot of power of the Earth's rules rising, with the vast origin of Kendo universe. In an instant, the Guardian Sword formation of the Earth has taken shape. The dark golden thunder transformed by the dark golden cudgel directly bombarded the Earth Guardian Sword formation, and a crisp explosion sounded immediately. The sword unparalleled Earth guarded the sword array, all began to tremble violently, but it didn't take long for them to calm down again. Sure enough, under the guidance of the Blood Rain Demon, my Earth Guardian Sword array has been greatly improved, and coupled with the aggressiveness of these years, the power has also been improved to a certain degree, even for the 1000-killer Emperor. The Lord's strongest fourth axe cannot regret this sword formation at all. And this demon leader took the initiative to use the strongest treasure soldier, and the attack he did is to kill the Emperor's fourth axe a lot, but I want to open my sword array directly, but it is almost. Wushuang is smiling. When he was separated from the Blood Rain Demon and the 1000-killing Emperor, the 1000-killing Emperor once said that the sword unmatched Earth-guarding sword array's ability to protect the body is extremely terrifying. Breaking the sword array is not empty words. Now that the Dragon Lord has taken the shot, he has also used his strongest magic weapon, but the attack that he can cast still fails to break the Sword Guardian Earthguard sword array. Lord Dragon's brows frowned slightly. No wonder the Red and a few people have said that they can't kill the Bloodsword Master. Even the attack that I use the strongest magic weapon can be blocked in front, with a guard sword array. Now, how did they kill them? The Lord of Dragons admits that Jian Wushuang, the Guardian Sword formation, is quite good, but he doesn't care. You know, he is the Lord of the Dragon, one of the top 10 kings in the first layer of Eternal Dark Prison. Although he is still only the third-level primary dominating level in the realm, the combat power has long reached the third-level High Master. The most extreme, even infinitely close to the third-level peak. On that stick, although he tried his best, he didn't use his unique skills. Dragon Flash. The Lord of the Dragon gave a low drink, and at this moment, the dark golden long stick suddenly turned into a dark golden dragon. This dark golden dragon is huge, carrying a breathtaking momentum, and blasts directly at the sword Wushuang. This dark golden dragon is incredible. Almost instantly, he hit the ground Guardian sword array of the swordless body surface. The shock of terror came, the Earth Guardian sword trembled madly, and in the blink of an eye, it had reached the limit it could bear, and finally collapsed. Swordless twins retreated, and immediately stopped in the void. This breaks my Guardian of the Earth. Jian Wushuang was surprised. He could see that the Lord of the Dragons had just performed his tricks, but he had paid nothing. However, this attack of the Dragon Lord only broke its sword formation, but it could not hurt him anymore. Even my strongest trick, Dragon Smash, just broke his sword array, but couldn't hurt him. The Dragon Lord's eyes narrowed for a moment, but the next moment his eyes were cold. A horrifying horror swept up, and in his face, black scales emerged one after another. The Lord of the Dragon is itself a tribe of the dragon family, and his body is a dragon. It's just that he usually doesn't use the body, but now why the sword is unparalleled, he has revealed part of the body. Not only did he reveal part of his body, he even consumed part of his essence. Dead. The Lord of the Dragons is another burst of drink. The sound is full of endless killing intentions. There is a burst of light on the surface of his body, but the dark golden sticks in his hands are waving out one after another. Boom, boom, boom. After 3 sticks, the power of each stick was outrageous. At the end, the power of the 3rd stick was superimposed, condensing explosive power. Sword warriors couldn't dodge at all, and could only run the Earth Guardian sword formation again. But this sword array was hit by unprecedented 3 sticks. With the first 2 sticks alone, the Sword Guardian Earthguard sword array was directly defeated. As for the final 3rd stick, without any hindrance, it was bombarded on the sword godless body. Jian Wushuang suffered the impact of terror, and the whole person was slammed down to the ground. At half sound, Jian's figure rose again, but at this moment, his body's breath was obviously weakened a little more than before. I lost more than 10% of my divine power. Jian Wushuang was surprised, but immediately he laughed again. It is indeed the Dragon Lord who is one of the 10 kings. This strength is really strong. Jian Wushuang had to admit it. In the move just now, 3 clubs smashed one after another, and Wei Yineng was really outrageous, especially the last 3rd club. The stacking of Wei Yineng has probably reached the 3rd level. This level of attack hit his body directly, and even after weakening from his surface to the treasure armor, it still caused a serious damage to his body, directly consuming more than 10% of the power. This is also because Jian Wushuang's strongest Arcana Warframe has been replaced with the best-in-class Ice Spirit armor, and the body protection ability has been greatly improved. If it is still the previous Wujin Demon armor, then this stick can at least make Jian Wushuang lose more than 30% of its magic power. End of this chapter. Chapter 3909. Fourthmore. Although the Lord of the Dragons also paid a price for that move just now, but the price is not too great. The same move, the Lord of Dragons may be able to perform many times. If I meet this Demon Dragon Lord elsewhere, I'm afraid I can only flee. Jian Wushuang smiled. But here is not elsewhere, but in eternal dark prison. In eternal hell, he didn't worry about danger at all. Lord, you are really strong, worthy of the king's name, but unfortunately you met me, so I can only blame you for being unlucky. Jian Wushuang suddenly said. Blamed me for being unlucky? The Dragon Lord frowned. The Martian Lord, the Red One Lord, and others watching in the surrounding void were also confused. They couldn't understand, they are all in such a situation now. What other waves can the Lord of Bloodswords make? Only Emperor Dicha, after hearing the words of Jian Wushuang, understood what Jian Wushuang was going to do. He could not help showing a little pity when he looked at the Lord of the Dragon. Jian Wushuang already knew about the strength of the Demon Dragon Lord, and naturally he was too lazy to hide it, and took out the disciple's token of the red cloud directly, and immediately mobilized the power of the surrounding magic circle. Immediately, a majestic power came directly. This is the power of the eternal dark prison's magic array, a vein of Hongyun. He is a person of a vein of Hongyun. The Dragon Lord has reacted immediately. But when he reacted, it was obviously late. I saw the majestic power directly acting on the Lord of the Dragons. Even though the Lord of the Dragons is a king-level powerhouse, it has a combat power close to the peak of the 3rd rank. Down, but weak and poor, there is no room for struggle. Suddenly suppressed by the power of that array, he couldn't move while lying there. Not only the Lord of the Dragons, but also the Lord of Stone Mars, Lord of the Red One, Lord of the Bone Demon, Lord of the Dark Fire, and Su Xinhu, who have been watching in the surroundings, were also suppressed by that mighty power at this moment. Do not. A vein of red clouds. The Lord of the Blood Sword is a person of a vein of red clouds. It's over, we're over. A series of hissing sounds followed, and the five were immediately suppressed there, unable to move. Soon, the five met with the Dragon Lord, all lying in front of Jian Wushuang. Master. The Emperor of Emperor Break also came to Jian Wushuang. The host. Hearing the title of Emperor's Sword Wushuang, the Demon Dragon Lord was shocked, but it turned out to be clear. Emperor, you have long surrendered to the Lord of the Blood Sword. Damn, we were all fooled by him. Hong Yi is the master, the 10,000 bone demon, the dark fire is the master, and Su Xinhu is extremely angry. When they saw the Emperor Dicha with Wushuang's sword before, the Emperor Dicha called the Lord of the Blood Sword, and said that the Lord of the Blood Sword was his best friend, and he shot for his best friend. But it now seems clear that this is not the case. This Emperor's dominion has long been subject to the Lord of the Blood Sword. Obviously, the Lord of the Blood Sword has revealed his identity and mobilized the power of the eternal dark prison array to suppress it. The Emperor's Lord was willing to surrender in order to survive. As for seeing what their best friends are, they are deceiving people. Even Jian Wushuang is a person in the red cloud, who can use the power of the eternal dark prison's magic array. Naturally, the four of them could easily be suppressed at the same time. But Jian Wushuang did not do so, but let them return to report. The purpose is obvious. Asshole, the Lord of the Blood Sword, deliberately attracted me here. This is a trap. I was accounted for by him, and I took it to my door. Stupid, I'm so stupid. The Dragon Lord growled, his voice hysterical. Lord of the Dragon, you are really stupid. Jian Wushuang looked down at the Lord of Dragons, and Shen said, you don't think about it, I have a ruler who has two rules at the same time, and dares how can you brazenly challenge the strong in your dragon domain and make such a big noise? How can there be no reliance? Furthermore, you have sent Red One to dominate several people to kill me. Although I was sent off, I know that you will definitely take the shot next, but you still dare to stay in this 42 dark area. Inside, don't you have any doubts when you come? Doubt, of course I doubt. The Lord of the Dragons said lowly, when I knew you existed, I was doubting your identity, because there are countless practitioners on the first floor of the eternal dark prison, but there is no ruler in it. At least in hundreds of times, I have never heard of a ruler from there, not to mention that the ruler has the rule of treasure in his hands. I guessed at the time that you probably entered the eternal dark prison in the near future, but I only thought you were lucky and happened to find this eternal dark prison, and accidentally broken. I didn't think of you in the vein of red cloud. After all, the vein of red cloud has long since vanished. This is an indisputable fact. I used to think that you were an outsider who was relying on your own body protection and some arrogance, so you wanted to immediately seize the opportunity to do something to you. After all, the two rules in your hand are extremely precious. Unexpectedly, I ended up planted in your hands. The Dragon Lord's eyes spewed flames. The king defeated, and he admitted that he had taken care of it this time, and took the initiative to come home to be suppressed by the Bloodsword Master. But he didn't regret it. There is nothing to regret. Anyway, he has been trapped in this eternal dark prison for a long time. He was desperate for a long time. He finally knew that there was an outside practitioner who was carrying two treasures. Of course, he had to seize this opportunity to fight. Maybe you will be lucky. Not only will you get the two rules of treasure, but you will also know the way to leave the eternal dark prison from the main sword of the Blood Sword. But unfortunately, he failed to succeed and was suppressed by the other party. Lord Dragon, you are indeed a hegemon in this eternal dark prison. Rest assured, I will not kill you directly. I will give you two choices, surrender or die. Jian Wushuang watched calmly with Demon Lord. Haha, surrender? You want me to surrender too? Lord Dragon sneered. Don't rush to refuse, wait for me to finish. Jian Wushuang simply recounted the things that need to be done after surrendering himself, of course, also talked about some things that he can do. The Lord of the Dragons, who was extremely unwilling to surrender, was immediately shaken after listening to what Jian Wushuang said. As for the Master of the Stone Mars and the Master of the Red One in the rear, they also exude a strong light. End of this chapter. Chapter 39:10. 5 more arrived today. Lord of the Bloodsword, can you take us out of eternal dark prison? The Dragon Lord stared at the sword unparalleled. Of course. Jian Wushuang nodded. Not only that, you only have to surrender me for 100,000 years. I can swear to the laws of the universe. After 100,000 years, you will definitely be free. Lord Dragon, you are in this eternal hell. After so many years of internal strife, it was very difficult to fight to the status it is now. Now you have the opportunity to leave, and the price is only to surrender for 100,000 years. You have to think carefully. The Dragon Lord frowned and groaned for a moment before raising his head again, saying, I finally understand why even the arrogant people like Dicha are willing to submit to you. You are right, 100,000 it's only been years, even if you have been a cow and a horse for 100,000 years, even like the ancestor of the Star Devil, I have recognized it as a plaything in your hands. Lord, you're not stupid yet home. Jian Wushuang smiled. When the Lord Dragon said this, he obviously promised to submit. How many of you? Jian Wushuang looked at the master of Stone Mars and Hong Yi, who were looking to the rear. Among these major masters, the 3 masters of the Bone Bones, the master of the Dark Fire, and Su Xin, who almost did not need to think about it, they agreed directly. Several of them had previously surrendered to the Lord of the Dragons, but they did not allow them to leave a mark on their souls. Now it is only 100,000 years to surrender to Jian Wushuang, but Jian Wushuang can take them out of eternal dark prison. This sale is absolutely cost-effective. As for the Red One and the Martian Master, they did not hesitate for a long time and chose to submit. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang was happy inside. Of these strong men surrendered at present, the Lord of the Dragons need not say more. One of the 10 kings, doing their best to fight, is afraid to be close to the peak of the 3rd-level domination. Fighting against the Devil Star in the future is definitely a great battle. The Red One dominates, and the combat power is not weaker than the Emperor's domination, which is also a great help. Can really make Jian Wushuang excited, always the master of the Stone Mars. This Stone Martian Master, but the Eternal Dark Prison Formation Method first achievement, with him, his 2 major sword formations can be greatly improved and perfected. In just a moment, Jian Wushuang left the imprint in the source of these dominant souls, and had absolute control over them. The cave house where the Baitsu Demon Lord lives is just in front of you, Devil Dragon, Stone Fire, Emperor Chase. The 3 of you come with me, and the others are waiting here. Jian Wushuang commanded. Yes. Everyone naturally led. Inside the cave, Jian Wushuang sat on the stone bench, while the Dragon Lord, Stone Martian Lord, and Emperor Ruler stood in front of the sword-sided. Stone Fire. Jian Wushuang first looked at the Lord of Stone Mars. Master. The Lord of Mars reveals a humble smile. Do not look at the Lord of Mars, but in fact he is a very humble person, and his temper is considered good. The reason why he was detained in Eternal Dark Prison was purely because those who offend Hongyun are not guilty of heinous sins. I created 2 sword formations. Before these 2 sword formations, the Blood Rain Demon has improved a lot for me, but I still feel that these 2 sword formations have a lot of room for improvement. You are good at formations. And the formation method is recognized throughout the Eternal Dark Prison, and you will follow me in the future to help me improve these 2 sword arrays. Jian Wushuangdao. Yes. The Lord of Mars immediately nodded. Magic Dragon, you are one of the 10 kings of Eternal Dark Prison, and the Lord of this Magic Dragon realm. Can you have the rule of treasure in your hand? Jian Wushuang asked. No. The Lord Dragon shook his head directly. Not one. The sword had no weird sides. Return to the master, the rule is the treasure. There are indeed a few in the Eternal Dark Prison, but there are not many. Among the 10 kings, there are several rules in the hands of the rule. But kings like me at the bottom are indeed one. Nothing, said the Lord Dragon bitterly. The king at the bottom? Jian Wushuang stunned. How, with your strength, are you still at the bottom of the top 10 kings? It's the bottom, at least I know. 6 of the top 10 kings are better than me. As for the remaining 4, it's probably similar to me, said the Dragon Lord. Which of the other kings has the rule of treasure? Jian Wushuang asked again. There are 4 known kings with the rule of treasures. They are the Lord of the Blood Peaks, the Borhinia Domain Lord, the King of the Bone Emperors, and the Lord of the Scorpions. As for the other kings, they may also have the rule of treasures in their hands. Take it out, and among the 4 known kings who have the rule arcana, the Lord of Scorpion Lords has the most rule arcanas, and there are 5 rule arcanas. Said the Dragon Lord. What? 5? Jian Wushuang was startled. The rule of treasure is generally only 1 or 2 in the vast universe. He himself also had the chance to pass the test of the Red Cloud Realm before he got a rule of magic sword www.mtlnovel. Plus his master Xian Yi left a town monument. But now in the first level of the Eternal Dark Prison, which is dominated by the 3rd level, some people are carrying 5 treasures at the same time. These 5 rules are precious, and even the sword unparalleled heart beats. Magic Dragon, are you sure that the Lord of Scorpions has 5 rules of treasure? Jian Wushuang squinted. Of course it's true, I don't hide it. I have met the old Scorpion a few times, and even played against him. I know quite well his whole card, and I am sure he has 5 rules of treasure in his hands. He had a rule stick of precious treasures that was perfectly suitable for me to cast. I had personally approached him and was willing to pay him a huge price in exchange for the rule precious treasure sticks, but he refused. And I came to the owner this time. In fact, I just wanted to get the 2 rules of the treasure in your master's hands, and then exchanged with him for that rule of treasures. Lord of the Dragons said, if you get my 2 rules of treasure, will the Lord of the Scorpions exchange it for you? Jian Wushuang asked with a smile. Of course it will, and he will definitely beg me to change at that time. The Lord Dragon affirmed. Why? Jian Wushuang wondered. I do know what the master is. The 5 rules of the Scorpion Lord are precious. 2 of them are special steelies. I heard the ruler of Hongi said before. The stone tablet in the hands of the unexpected owner, should be the same as the 2 stone tablets in the hands of the Lord of the Scorpions, said the Dragon Lord. Zhen Tianbei. Jian was double body suddenly stood up. You mean, the Lord of the Scorpions has Zhentian Steely in his hands? And there are 2 full? Chapter 39:11. The first is more. Yes, it's Zhentian Monument. The Dragon Lord nodded and said, the old Scorpion originally had 2 such town monuments. But for a long time, he has been trying to find a 3rd one. However, the Eternal Dark Prison resource is limited, and he has not been able to obtain it. I am guessing that if this old Scorpion gets 3 town monuments at the same time, its strength will definitely be greatly improved. It will be greatly improved. Jian Wushuang smiled. He himself has a town monument, and from the magic flame, he also knows the origin of the town monument. The Zhen Tianbei itself is a precious rule of repression, but its true magic is combined with a unique law formation. That is, the law circle is divided into 4 levels, and the most basic first-level law circle requires 3 town monuments to be able to perform. Since the Lord Scorpion Lord is so eager to get the 3rd town monument, it is likely that he has the first-level magic circle in cooperation with the town monument. I only need to get 3 town monuments, and he can bring out the first-level power of that array, and the strength will inevitably increase. But now, this incident let Jian Wushuang know that Sword Wushuang is bound to start to figure out. If I can get the 2 town monuments in the hands of the Lord of the Scorpions, and get the first-level law circle from him, then with my strength and a sense of the laws of the universe, I will use 3 towns. The Steely exerts its might, and I am afraid that my overall strength will also be greatly improved. The strange light flashed in the sword's eyes. Magic Dragon, you continue to talk about the other rules of the Dragon Lord to the treasure, and there are other information of those kings, you also tell me in detail. Sword Wushu Angdao. Yes. The Lord of the Dragons immediately began to speak. Although the 10 great kings in the first layer of Eternal Dark Prison have all heard of Jian Wushuang, he doesn't know much about some of the means of the whole cards. But the Lord of the Dragons is one of the 10 kings himself, and often deals with those kings. He must know more about these kings than sword masters. Wu Jianshuang and the Dragon Lord talked in detail in the cave. Outside of the cave house, 4 people, Red One, Dark Fire Master, Wangu Dejuan, and Su Xinhu, waited quietly there. I waited to follow the Lord of the Dragons to deal with the Lord of the Bloodsword, but I did not expect that this Lord of the Bloodsword was actually a man with a red cloud, but in the blink of an eye, he became his slave. 10,000 Bone Devil sighed. Although I waited before I surrendered to the Lord of the Dragons did not leave a mark on the soul of me and other souls, but now. The Dark Fire sighed secretly. Everybody wants to start. Think about the Lord of the Dragons, he is the one who is the most unwilling, but now is not the same as the slave of the Lord of the Bloodsword. Said Hong Yi. This is also true. Wan Bone Demon, the master of the Dark Fire, smiled. It is true that even the Lord of the Dragons is now honestly surrendering to the Lord of the Bloodsword. Some of them were originally only the Lord of the Dragons. What else is unwilling? At this time, someone has come. Suddenly Hong Yi's dominion raised his head, and a breath had come out of his soul perception. He was quite familiar with this breath. What is he doing here? Hong Yi dominated with doubt. After a while, a young man in a silver armor appeared in front of Hong Yi's dominance. Red One is dominating. The young man shouted with a smile. You, don't you stay in the dragon castle, what do you run here for? Hong Yi dominated and frowned. This dominated by Yu Fei is also a strong man under His Majesty Dragon Lord. However, in terms of relationship status, he is not as good as a few people. After all, the red or a few people are all around the Demon Lord, compared with the Demon Lord being close, but dominated by Yu, is just a person who works for the Dragon Lord. Hong Yi, Lord, can it be inside? You dominated the mountain behind him. Yes. Hong Yi dominated his head and nodded. Are you looking for a lord? I originally stayed in the Dragon Castle, but I knew a while ago that this matter is very important, so I immediately came to confess the Lord. Yu dominated. Is that so? Hong Yi dominated, and said, let's go, what's worth your own trip? It's like this. The change in the matter that dominated when he was about to sue. After listening to it, Hong Yi dominated all 4, and his expression became extremely dignified. You're waiting here, I'll go and tell the Lord immediately. The ruler of Hong Yi immediately rushed to the cave house in the middle of the mountain. Within the cave house, the Dragon Lord is still telling some things about the 10 kings to Jian Wushuang. Wu Hong Yi dominated directly. Master, Lord. Red One dominates the sword, and the Dragon Lord salutes. Hong Yi, are you okay? Jian Wushuang looked over. Back to the master, the Lord Yu of His Majesty knows one thing. He came over from the Dragon Castle to confess to the Lord. He said that not long ago, someone in the Dragon Realm saw the ancestor of the Star Devil in a carriage and went along the road, arresting practitioners in the wild. Hong Yi dominates the solemn road Star Demon ancestor. The Lord of Flint and Mars and the Emperor Sheikh trembled when they heard the name of the Star Demon ancestor. Apparently there was a fear of this Star Demon ancestor. The ancestor of the Star Demon came to visit my Devil Dragon realm? But it's less than 1 billion years since his last tour. Obviously it's not time yet. The Demon Lord also frowned. Star Demon Tour is generally more regular. After all, the purpose of the Star Demon Tour is to capture the practitioner into a livestock animal for his enjoyment, and in the exercises he captured generally tortured in his hands for a long time. When he gets tired, he will catch the next batch. But now it hasn't been long since the last time the Star Demon went out to catch the practitioners. According to the reason, the Star Devil should not go out during this time. Star Demon Patrol? Jian's eyes narrowed slightly. I visited the Star Demon. He had heard of it in this eternal dark prison, and knew the strange ancestor of the Star Demon ancestor. He also understood why the ancient Night Devil had asked him to find a way to kill the Star Demon ancestor. The ancient Night Demon Prince was apparently caught by the Star Demon ancestors during his tour, and then brought back by the Star Demon ancestors, turned into livestock animals, and was tortured for 1 billion years. You must know that a dignified master has become a livestock, and it is still a livestock for people's pleasure, or a full 1 billion years. This kind of shame and pain is afraid that no one can bear it. This star demon ancestors tore time and chosen place, it is too coincident. Jian Wushuang suddenly said, "You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.